Photon Fizz, please.
Sure, bub. Whatever you want.
Can we do a recap of last session? I had a very busy couple of weeks, so I'd love a refresher on where we were and what our game plan was going forward.
Hold on, I'm still fighting the mute button on this stupid Skype.
So basically, we checked out
around.
Vincent's fabrics, and we learned a little bit. We found out that I think we basically poked around, saw that he had some records that indicated that some people were being singled out for enslavement. Basically, the clothes weren't given to the people on site. It was sort of like a fitting place almost. And we figured that people were getting clothes delivered to them and / getting enslaved, but that the connection to another clothing place might be more fruitful.
Okay, right. That does sound familiar. Okay.
There's a different place.
And is that where we were going to head next, I think?
Yeah, we're going to check out Galaxy's Finest Fit.
And did Kurt do any research on the hidden individual or the old man? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did research on the old man and got a name, and we got some like location information of, and I'd have to go back and look at the email. But then, as far as researching the what is it, the person that you kidnapped? That's the one we're looking for.
Yep.
I'm still in the process of digging through all of that data that Jonathan said was going to take a while.
Okay, good. At least we've got our fingers in that. That's perfect, because I do feel that that's going to help us unravel this mystery. Yeah. I mean, heck, from our implicating the Imperials perspective, that could be incredibly damning. So to find that individual who I quote unquote kidnapped, although fake kidnapped.
The other thing to think about is that the Galaxy's Finest Fit might be shut down like these other places have been.
Yep, very true.
So, do
you want to do like how we did it before, where you and I kind of scope the joint and let Kurt do a little bit of slicing in the meantime, and then we'll call him back if there's a need?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. And we got to keep
using
gotta
all
keep
the
pressure on. Yeah. Besides, I can get totally sloppy drunk then, and it really doesn't impact the game too much.
Besides, what's the worst that could happen? Splitting the party.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well,
that's right.
I mean,
splitting
I might
the
not be
party
able
is always dangerous. It's like a horror movie.
It is true. It is actually true. But I guess we'll have to weigh that risk. I mean, if we assume that this place is going to be shut down, I mean, we could just be extremely careful, Slashik and Oskala, just like really at an arm's length, like just like walking down the street, a couple alleys over, not even like really
basically,
it.
I mean, the first thing we want to find out is if this place is even operational. If it's not operational,
exactly.
I'm not sure how much we're really going to get, but okay.
Yeah,
I agree. That's the plan.
Okay, so are we recording? Everything good?
Yep.
Edit out the gulping sounds of me eating my
the Slurpee.
Yeah. it's a lot. It's like when you first start one of these milkshakes, you're like, oh, this is the most delicious thing ever. And then like 12 ounces later, you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Why did I commit myself to this?
Oh, I know.
I'm too far into it to put it. I'm too far into it to put it away now. It's like if I put it in the freezer, there's not enough to satisfy me the next time I start it up. So
that's how I feel when I suck Ewok blood down a straw.
Oh, Lord help us all. Okay, so Kurt is going to stay back at the bar, and Slashik and Oskala are going to head to Galaxy's Finest Fit to do some what's the word I'm looking for? Scoping.
Reconnaissance.
Recon. That's the word I was looking for.
Heyo.
Good job. Ding ding. 1 experience point. I'm just kidding.
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy.
Okay. I guess I know I wrote it in the in one of the emails, but just for anybody who might actually be listening to this, Kurt, you're able to dredge up the name of the old man. It was Malagar Kane. I spelled it out in the email, so you know. According to his record, the last known place of residence was in Valve City on Malibor 4. That's where the big refinery is, if you recall way back to the beginning. His weekly disability credit notices are sent to a Dropbox facility in a certain subsector there I sent to. It's not really, the location doesn't really matter, but it's sent to
On
a
Malibu
specific,
4.
Yeah, Malibu 4, yeah. It's sent to basically a postal post box stop, if that makes sense. Not like to an actual address.
Okay.
So that's what you have on him. So you know, if nothing else, his place of residence is further in system. So you'll have to get back in system to dredge him up, most likely.
Okay.
And you're going to work on the other individual, correct?
Yes. Yeah. The remains a mystery.
Would we have roll computers? Is that right?
Yeah, that's usually what I've been doing all my slicing on is the computer.
Okay, so do a 4 difficulty plus 1. Black die. I can't think what they're called all of a sudden.
Setback. The setback?
Setback, yeah. So 4 difficulty, 1 setback.
Okay.
Computers for me. You didn't roll super great last time.
Okay, yeah. I'm spooling up the Grandmaster computer here. Sorry, I wasn't.
No, that's fine.
Quite ready. Okay, let me make sure. All right, so that's the right dice. So 4 difficulty with 1 setback, and then I get to throw in my stuff for the computers. All right, here we go. Rolling. Come on, settle down, dice. Oh, man. Okay, so I got, oh boy, 2 failure, 1 triumph, and 1 threat.
What does that all boil down to? So 1 failure, but you did get a triumph?
Well, this is the summation. The computer, the application cancels everything out.
Oh, okay.
So I end
that's
up
your
with,
total.
Yeah, my net is 2 failure, 1 triumph, because I don't think that gets killed unless you get a despair, and then 1 threat. So I think overall it's a failure, but it was a really, really good failure.
Right, yeah. All right, hold on. I'm putting it on my chart here.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Jeez.
I'm writing down the last time.
Black
you got
didn't settle.
2 failure.
That is correct.
And 1 triumph. And anything else?
Yeah, 1 threat.
Another threat. Wonderful. Add that to the threat column. I'm probably making a
So I did a lousy job, but felt good about it.
Yes. Yeah. You're basically earning points. You don't really know what it is, but you're earning points behind the scenes here. That's the easiest way for me to do it. So I'm like, I'm going to put this on your chart. All right. 2 in the failure column, 1 in the triumph column, another 1 for the threat column. Let's see how close you're getting. You can't really tell right now.
Yeah, I can't tell.
You're dredging away. You feel like you're making progress here. You feel like you're losing progress in other areas. Is kind of the best way I could put it for you right now.
So you actually have like my own dedicated flowchart? Is that what you're saying?
Not so much a flow chart, just like a cheapo grid.
Table.
Yeah,
Okay.
cheapo tape.
Right.
Probably
You
not
made him very excited with that.
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
I'll have to take a picture of it just to send it to him, but I can't show him like the points for everything. Just like, ooh, look, here's each of the areas. You don't know how much everything's worth, but there you go.
Awesome.
Okay. So Kurt spends the day whiling away on that, and you guys head off to Galaxy's Finest Fit. This is and the best way I can kind of describe this is imagine, and I'm sure maybe you guys have to imagine, I don't know, You know what a strip mall is, right? So it's just like the one level
Sure.
kind of. Okay. Do you know what like a strip like warehouse is? So it's like the same kind of idea. It's just a bunch of warehouses right next to each other.
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all kind of recognize that idea? Maybe, maybe not.
Okay.
I guess not.
I think I get it. I mean,
Yeah,
Okay,
I could put two
we
and
have
two
we
together.
have a bunch of them over here. So it's like you would go into almost like a business park, but it's like a warehouse park, and you would turn down, and they almost none of them have like a storefront. They're just like it looks like it's just one giant warehouse, one after the other, with geez, docks, like docks and the dock doors and stuff like that, all the way down. But each
Okay.
one of them, or every couple of doors, sort of thing, what they do is a company separates them up depending on what other companies want to sublet underneath it, lease out however many doors they need. Uh, and then typically it can be that and just have two of these like back to back. So it's just garage doors on both sides, or they can have a pseudo office front. So the back side of it's like two garage door or two dock doors. And the front's like a generic man-sized door that you would, with a little dinky office in it. So
Okay.
what you're in is a district similar to that. So it's lots of little nondescript warehouses. If they have signs, it's like a little, you know, like 1 foot by 2 foot little sign next to the door or hanging on the door that kind of tells you what it is. In this area, it's all basically nondescript stuff from Joe Bob's warehousing to so and so delivery. Just lots of generic places like that. Um, but Galaxy's Finest Fit is actually one of these row warehouses. So as you make your way down, you're basically in kind of a warehouse district, but there's actually a fair amount of activity. It's not a dingy, rundown sort of place. It's a fairly active. There's lots of movement, lots of people coming and going, and kind of transport vehicles coming and going through this area. So it's not a quiet and empty, desolate street, if that makes sense.
okay.
When you get near Galaxy's Finest Fit, it actually is one of the slightly larger ones. So it has a man-sized door facing the street and a what looks like a window that faces the street as well. So as you come by, you can actually see that it's open. It has a sign in the window, um, or on the window, on the door for Galaxy's Finest Fit. And it actually has a little classic placard up next to it. Let's see what I wrote down. It's the same thing I see all the time when I'm driving to work. Let's put that, or not exactly the same thing. It's a sign that just says hiring pilots. Around here, it's drivers wanted. Just so you know, there's always drivers wanted on almost every one of these things. A lot of turnover. So they're hiring pilots. They just have a little generic sign. That's all it says on the next to the door. But they're definitely open. You actually see somebody leave. Just looks like a generic person. He's carrying a handful of clothes over his shoulder. He's walking out down the street and minding his own business like anybody else on the street.
We are also minding our own business. We
You're
continue walking.
Yeah,
We continue walking.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
completely
Real cash.
unnoticed.
I'm
Yeah.
super cash.
Super cash.
And
Hold
I'm
on.
pretending to be cash.
I'm whistling.
Yeah. Oh.
Oscillate doesn't know how to whistle that well.
I feel like I should roll and say, like, wait a minute, those guys are being too casual. They must be up to something. Nobody whistles on this street.
All right. Slashik, did you see that they're open?
I did.
Excellent. Good observational skills, as always.
Thank you. Did you see that sign that said pilots wanted?
I did see that sign. It gives me ideas.
I'm so glad that it gives you ideas because I didn't have any.
Why did you bring it up?
Just showing you how good my observation skills are.
Yes, your observational skills are excellent. Excellent observing.
Thank you.
Okay. So, we could get inside by pretending that one of us is a pilot. Maybe we could get into the interior of the facility and maybe stun a few people, poke around a little bit. Courage is pretty good at the poking around bit when it comes into, looking at computers. Otherwise, we have to start shooting people's arms, cutting them up, things like that.
Right.
Kind of thinking maybe wait for Kurt, but maybe we could go inside and just ask around and say that we know a pilot. We could do
I think
that.
that might be a good idea, and for the sake of being inconspicuous, do you want to go in alone and have me wait out here? I don't. I usually get a lot of looks when I go into certain establishments.
Yeah, but I don't want to get enslaved, so we'll be okay. You're going to be there the second
Okay.
time also, so.
Very well. I'll back you up.
Okay, so our story is we know a guy, and he's the pilot, and we just want to figure out if this is the kind of job that he wants. And let's assume that they're shipping fabrics, but also slaves. So light freighter type deal ship is
So we
probably what
should
they're looking
be-
for.
And we should come off as maybe not so ethical.
Good idea. Yes.
Should we be mercenaries, people that are looking to score some credits by any means possible? What's my
Mercenaries,
motivation?
I don't
What's
know.
my
We could, we could provide our own security. We're tough enough to be our own security. Maybe that's a plus.
Yeah, you guys are shotgun.
So,
Yes.
what was that voice?
Shot.
Sorry.
Did you hear that voice in my head?
What?
It sounded like shotgun. It's just weirdest thing.
I was just talking to myself. I had some thoughts. I said, yes. We can be our own security.
All right, I'm all for it.
Shooting. I'm good at shooting.
Yes. I can cut a humanoid in half.
Let's go inside.
Let's go inside.
Maybe, a little less of the slicey to start off with. Okay, let's go inside. Okay. Here we go.
I'm following you.
All right. We double back and step inside. Real cash.
One of these days, I'm gonna have to just have somebody kidnap you just for the heck of it, just to
Jesus.
just
Yeah.
feel so panicky. Like, oh my god, we can't go anywhere alone. We'll get kidnapped. And enslaved. Come back and the bar's empty. Everybody's been enslaved.
Kurt is nowhere to be found.
Right.
Yeah. He's gone.
Okay, hold up. Let me get my little map out here.
Oscalet definitely grew up in a much calmer part of the galaxy. This all looks like very, very rambunctious. Like I'm not going into that store if you're not with me.
He's paranoid now. Everything's making him jumpy. Okay, when you open when the door, they slide in Star Wars. I can't remember now.
Yeah, they slide.
Sure.
Isn't that how that works? Oh, wrong game.
No.
Perfect.
Not even a little bit.
So when it first opens, you actually find yourself in this little kind of is it vestibule too fancy a word?
Oh, that's perfect.
So it's maybe think of it like an old airlock is what it feels like.
Is it
Oscar, you might be
is
having
it
some,
an old airlock?
you might have some old
So I'm like, I'm reaching for my rebreather, my respirator. Like, oh crap.
yeah. You flinch momentarily as you definitely step into an old airlock from a ship, but the other door's open, like it's not even installed anymore. If that makes sense, they ripped it out completely,
You got it.
salvaged it for other purposes.
Okey-doke.
But it is still like a little enclosed space. Call it 8 feet by 8 feet, just like a little box. On your left hand side is a little table with brochures is kind of the best way I can put it. Sales paraphernalia. It's not necessarily neat, but it's also not just a big heap of garbage. So it looks like people have picked up, rifled through it, looked at it, and put it back down without making it neat, if that makes sense. On the right-hand side, there's a bulletin board with all sorts of generic notices from things like, "Hey, it's a company, bowling night." They don't really bowl obviously in Star Wars, but company, Pazak night at the blah blah blah. Little things like that. Kind of a company notice
I
board
love
there on the right
Bazak.
hand. There on the right hand side. But that's what it is. Like so and so's birthday is next week. That sort of thing. Just like a company notice boards there on the right hand side.
I just want to take a close look at that for any sort of clues and just like disruptions, changes
In
in the
the
last
company
ever
notice board?
since the just on the bulletin board. See if there's anything I can glean from that. Based on things changing after the Great House
I gotcha.
attack.
Give me a. Actually, let me think. I got to think where you were at. Yeah, give me a 3 difficulty perception.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I need to actually reset my dice. For some reason, I have the wrong dice loaded on this thing.
Yeah, so you guys are getting my picture. It's like kind of a company notice board. It's almost
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I gotcha. Okay, 3 difficulty perception coming right up. Perception. Okay. Was this not summing for me? Hang on. Looks like I push with 1 advantage.
Nothing sticks out in your mind. There's definitely a lot of information there. As I said, from employee birthdays to local events coming up. There's a couple people trying to sell some random technological doodads. Like I said, think of it like somebody trying to sell an old barbecue. If you can think of your own office, that's that sort of thing. People trying to sell local. Hey, I've got an old fridge unit that I'm trying to get rid of, sort of thing. It's got employees of the month, people who've come up with new efficiency ideas for the place, that sort, awards, all that kind of crap.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, nothing's really sticking out to you.
Okie doke.
Slashik, anything? You just staring
as
straight
much as
ahead?
as much as I would like to, I just know in the character, Slashik is not interested in the bulletin board. he's not even looking at it.
No,
He's looking around for other human beings, yeah, or other beings that he could potentially
look at
engage.
targets, looking for targets.
Yeah, he's looking for threats. He's like Mac from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's a Terminator walking around behind you.
Yeah, basically.
6'2", no threat. Okay, so that's your vestibule. If you keep going through, you can actually see that it opens up beyond that doorway into what looks like possibly a lobby of sorts, a reception area of sorts. You can see a little couch along the right-hand wall. And your move, gentlemen.
All right. There's no one here to.
Not in this little vestibule.
Oh yeah, moving. Yeah, let's move deeper.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow. I'm following you at this point.
Yeah.
Just going in.
Okie doke. As you step through, there is a little reception desk off to the left-hand side, kind of straight and to the left. So if you look straight across from the little thing you entered into, there's actually a wall. So there's a wall down your right-hand side, and the wall straight across from you with a door in it, closed, that looks like it goes deeper into the facility. And then kind of right next to that door, off to the side a little bit, is a little corner desk with a Twi'lek receptionist, what you assume is a receptionist, behind it. She looks up as you walk in. How can I help you guys?
Hello. We saw you were hiring for pilots. We have a associate who may be interested. I was wondering if you could tell us more about the piloting things that you want people to do for you?
Well, I'm not really the best person to answer that question. I can tell you that we have been looking for a pilot for the last few weeks. Um, Mental note: it's been a couple weeks since the Great House meeting.
Gotcha.
It's been a couple weeks. We've been looking for somebody. Just haven't found anybody that's like perfect. But then again, the guy that we lost, man, he was a real talent. I mean, he was like employee of the month, like 2 months running. So, um, it's a shame, really. But we're not sure. I guess he just quit or found a better job. I mean, he was a good employee and everything. But you'll have to hold up. Let me dig this guy's name up. I wrote it down on my squiggly pad here, and I can't read my handwriting. You'll have to talk to Mr. Steranko in order to get all the real details on that job. He's in a meeting right now, but if you want to wait, you're welcome to have a seat, and he should be out some point, I assume. I'll give him a buzz if you want.
We can wait a little while. Why don't you tell me about the previous pilot? What sort of ship did he fly? Oh, who was he? Maybe we know him.
Oh, I knew I forgot something. I didn't write the dude's name down. I was so busy writing everything else down, I didn't write this guy's name down. All right, time to make up a name on the fly. Let's see, what letter should I start with? Hold up.
So I'm assuming it wasn't our friend Blasso.
No, that would be pretty funny.
I was wondering.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. I just wanted to make sure it
could
wasn't
it be
like someone
Blasso?
who we'd
Maybe.
run into before. Yeah.
Oh, Blasto.
I could say yes, but that would totally mess up all the
it
spider
wouldn't
web
make sense.
bit.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, his name was Victor Garvin." Yeah, just I guess he seemed like a nice guy. Normal. He'd been working here for I don't know, a couple years, I think. But he was a great guy. He always made sure that the customers got what they wanted, and he did a great job. But just haven't seen him in a few weeks, and we never got a call from him to hear if he was sick or anything. But it really is a shame. Like I said, she kind of points over your shoulder. He's, like I said, employee of the month, couple months in a row, and just gone like that. So who knows?
It's very odd indeed. I wonder what happened to him.
Oh, there's no telling. I mean, all these crazy things been happening. We actually thought
yeah.
maybe he was actually killed in one of those explosions, because there's been some explosions, on the station, and so we thought maybe he was killed in one of those. But when I checked like his employee record, right, against where the explosions happened, and he doesn't live anywhere near them, so it didn't make sense. But we've tried calling his comm number and can't get a hold of him. So who knows? I mean, we really don't know.
Yeah, that is odd. Well, there were some other incidents across the station. There have been people going around killing people. Maybe he was near one of those. What section of the station did he live in? Maybe I know something.
She gives you a section. It's definitely not one you guys have been into yet. Just as an FYI.
There was that attack on Screwdriver. What is it? Screwdriver? That bar we knocked over. What was the name? Some madmen.
The strip screw.
Strip screw. Yeah. There was that incident. The strip screw. He didn't.
That doesn't sound like the type of place I would expect Victor to be in. He seemed like such a nice guy. I mean, really nice guy. She's got dreamy eyes.
What kind of ship did he fly? We do want to know if our ship was our associate's ship is suited to the sort of cargo. Maybe that could give us an idea of whether we're well suited to this work situation.
Well, we actually provide. It's not like off planet. Or off station. We actually just deliver specifically to areas of the station, people who live on the station. If you live off the station and you've come on station to actually purchase some stuff from one of our many supply houses, people that we supply, we will actually mail, quote unquote, mail your stuff to you, or you can come pick it up. You can actually come in person to pick it up. We don't have, I guess, guild rights to transport off station and into deeper into the system. But we have to contract that out. But here on station, we have, I don't know the type of vehicle, the equivalent to a box truck, like a day cab sort of box truck you guys have probably seen everywhere, about the size of like a Ryder truck.
Cargo speeder, I suppose.
Right, yeah, something like it. So we just have some cargo speeders with our company logo on them, and they rush out and that's what they do. They deliver all day around the think of him like a UPS driver. He delivers around the station, and that's what he does. He can handle complaints to a little bit, or I should say, the pilot should be able to handle complaints a little bit.
Of course.
We do. Sometimes you have people who put on a little bit of weight between the time that they order their clothes and the time they get their clothes, and then of course, oh, you didn't measure this right. So they do need to have your friend does need to have some kind of interpersonal skills to handle that sort of thing. Other than that, if he's passed all of the guild exams and that sort of thing, and he's got his license, then he's definitely a possibility. I obviously can't say for sure, but that'll be Mr. Stranko's job. But it's been a couple weeks, so we do need somebody.
Of course.
Let me just buzz him right fast and see if he's ready. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Go ahead and buzz, I suppose.
Yeah, you hear mumble through the little communicator to.
Just Charlie Brown moment.
Right. He says he'll be out in just a minute if you're willing to wait for that. All right. So I assume you wait.
Of course. Why wouldn't we want that to happen?
So
right
after like 15 minutes, as these things tend to go, he'll be out in a minute. 2 hours later. After about like 15 minutes, the office door is actually, you've been talking to her over kind of a corner, and just to sort of her left, and kind of the left of the entrance where you guys came in, looks like it would almost line up with that box and where the window was outside. He has his little office there, and you can't see into it obviously from the inside of the building. But door opens up, and he's like, "Well, she tells me that you guys are interested in becoming pilots. Is that right? Please step into my office. I'd definitely love to see what sort of skills you have to offer."
Of course. Come on, Slashik.
He ushers you in very happily, very clean cut looking human. Nothing sticks out. He doesn't look like a slimy, greasy businessman. He just looks like a standard kind of small business owner who's been doing this for whatever. He steps you into a little office, very simple layout. It's got a little desk in the corner, got a couple chairs opposite the desk. Some shelves with some doodads and knickknacks and things on them, that sort of thing. So he comes in, and the desk is like a corner desk set in the corner. So he comes in, he sits down in his chair, spins it around so he can see you guys at the entrance, and he motions to the two chairs that are in the room. And please have a seat.
I'll go and have a seat.
Hold on, I got
Phil, are you sitting too, or am I the only one sitting?
See, still here?
Ocelot? Hello?
Oh, excuse me. I was on mute. Yes, I've sat.
Okay.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure, because I didn't hear you, and I was like, "Oh wait, was I supposed to stand really aggressively?"
Get up.
Over here in the corner. He says, "Well, I just to give you a little quick company background, I started Galaxy's Finest Fit about 5 years ago. We actually have a number of dealers across, well, not so much dealers, business partners across the station who send us business. Basically, we make the clothes that they sell. Sometimes they sell them in their store straight to the customer. Sometimes they actually custom order things and send those to us. We custom make them for specific customers and deliver those goods to the customer if they want them delivered. It is a bit of an upcharge, but they can come by here and pick them up as well. And if there's ever any problems, we guarantee all of our work. So if there's ever any kind of fault, manufacturing default, then customer is more than welcome to come to us, and they don't actually have to go back to the person that they bought it from. They can come straight to us, and we will make sure that it's taken care of. But of course, we are built on our quality, so we don't have those sorts of problems. Everything we do here is handmade clothes. Can you beat that? And he goes into a sales pitch. I'm not going to do the whole thing.
They're really handmade.
Right,
Really
yeah,
handmade?
well, yeah, that's
What?
right. Oh, you're paying
How's that even
bottom
possible?
dollar for top quality merchandise. Yeah, he's going into sales.
Do you have do you have custom fit for extra large sizes?
We can do custom fit. In fact, he goes, we typically like to push that business to one of our business associates because that is their forte. But since you're here already, if you're interested, I'm sure we could find one of our tailors to take a look and see what they can do for you. But you guys are here to be pilots. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be selling you guys stuff. We have had a little bit of turnover here recently. There's been a lot of turmoil on station, as you guys are aware. We're afraid one of our employees may have gotten caught up in this in some way, shape, or form. We have not heard from him in a couple weeks, and which kind of corresponds to when all this kind of stuff went down. But we have not heard from him, and so at this point, we've pretty much had to cancel his contract with the guild, and they completely understand. So he thinks you guys are pilots as an aside, and he doesn't want any guild issues from you guys. You fired a pilot just because he didn't call in sick. So he's playing the. So we contacted the guild, and they gave us full permission to kill his contract, to get rid of his contract, and to start hiring for a new one. So if you guys have your guild cards, I'd be more than happy to look at them and confirm, and then we can move forward. I can only take one of you, unfortunately, so I'll have to look at your backgrounds according to the guild records to see really which one of you is preferred, if you know what I mean. Which one of you I am?
How wonderful. We were actually inquiring for a friend of ours.
Although, just that's a good thing you bring up there. Do you mind if I have a quick word with my Boston friend here, privately, just to see which one of us might be the better fit?
He looks a little confused. Sure. You know what? I'm going to run out to the bathroom. And he steps out of the office for a second and turns the corner. Then you don't see him for a minute. Give you guys a chance to talk.
Yeah. So Osklet, he's going to run background checks on us. Is there any reason why we should be worried about Kurt's background check? I know that there was some kind of an issue with him getting flagged when we were being held by the Imperials. Was that completely taken care of? Was that expunged? Was that record wiped? And is Kurt good to go by giving him the guild card?
We don't have guild cards. Certainly not for the guild that deals with pilots. So there is that.
Which further complicates things.
Yes, yes, it does. So when we first came in here, we were looking.
You know that Kurt has the whatever that I forgot which guild is. The Technicians Guild. That's what he's a member of. No cross gilding, gentlemen. So he's only got
right. Yeah, I know that. But we might be able to fake up something in the meantime before he gets here. We might be able to fake up some guild credentials for Kurt. He was who we were originally planning to make the pilot. Essentially, we were inquiring for a friend. Remember that part? And they just wanted to hire us.
I just want to make sure.
I think that's our best play right now. And then we say we have to, get our friend's guild card. Or bring our friend here.
Okay.
We were just asking about, we just want to know about the job. We want to know things about the job. And imply that we're up for shady stuff. If
Very
necessary.
Well. All right, I'll keep my panic to myself next time.
It's okay. No, this is time for me to. This is extra time for me to center my thoughts.
All right,
Do
good.
you know thought? You remember? You know thoughts, right? Familiar with
Yes,
these things.
thank you, Mammal. Thank you very much.
It's an interesting concept.
That's so funny. Inner monologue, that thing. um, he reappears a few minutes later with a cup of the equivalent of coffee in the Star Wars universe. Recaf, I think is what they call
I
it.
think
In
it's
some
calf,
other,
just calf. Yeah.
just calf, with a cup of steaming something. That's all you can see. Um, he's sipping on as he comes back in. So, you said you were here for a friend? He looks a little confused.
Yes, yes. Well, we have a friend who's looking for work as a pilot, and we were actually asking about the position. Uh, we were just inquiring about it to see if he would be interested. Mainly, we're not guild pilots. Me and my scaly friend here. Although I can certainly drive a cargo. What was it? What do they call
Hauler,
them?
just cargo hauler.
Yeah, I can haul some. I can haul cargo like no other. But I'm not guild certified. The system I'm originally from, uh, Gendrilla. Uh, I hauled cargo there a little bit, but I'm not certified on these guilds. I'm relatively new to the system.
Ah, okay. Well, I can understand that. Well, if you'll have your friend stop by, I'm definitely willing to talk to him. I know if he's already engaged with another company, it can get a little weird, but we could probably work the paperwork out. I mean, depending on how good his record is and everything.
I think he's looking to transition to a new position. His current boss is a bit of a butthead.
uh, I definitely strive not to be that sort of boss. So yeah, if he's interested, or I guess you guys have seen seen enough. You know what? Tell you what, I'll show you around the place just so you guys can make a good
That would be great.
impression on your
That
friend.
would be great.
Wonderful. He'll if you will follow me, I'll take you out to the shop.
Of course.
So he comes out, takes that left, like you saw, like he had headed off a second ago, and kind of behind a wall that was behind the secretary, there's a staircase that goes up magically,
Okay.
and he'll lead up the staircase. There's just an open door at the top, an open door frame at the top. And when you come through there, you actually see a room that's the warehouse. So imagine a large kind of cargo hold, because a lot of these, remember, are repurposed ships and things. So imagine a large cargo hold, and you're on the top floor of this cargo hold, and there's just machinery and people working at them, like sewing machine type of stuff. And there's actually people working on everything, from pants to shirts to jackets, all sorts of crazy stuff's being made in there, and nobody even pays attention as he wanders in. They're all just
This is
hammering away.
incredible. It's how do you ever make enough profit from? You must have to pay all these people, more than you would a droid or a machine to create these clothes. It's amazing that you can stay in business.
Oh, have you seen the some of the prices that our business partners charge for these clothing? Our customers know what they're getting. It is the galaxy's finest fit, after all.
Aha, ha, ha. I suppose it is. I'll take your word for it.
That's great.
So he'll show you around. It just looks like a kind of
Yeah.
a general. Think back to the old 20s and 30s
Sure.
of people working in a large textile
Sweatshop.
sort of place. Yeah, it's like a sweatshop. Really, it's kind of like a
Can I,
sweatshop.
while
It's an
we're
upscale, but
while
still a sweatshop.
while we're doing this, can I kind of I don't want to unless you want me to, but instead of going through the whole narrative, I want him to kind of like show me somebody working on like heavy like padded clothing or armor or something like that. I'm trying to work in like the narrative, like learning a little bit more about armor so I can get that next skill trait. So
You might have to work here for a while in order.
no, yeah, I don't want to work as like like I don't want to like build it. I just want to like tell me about this. Tell me about the weave and like how you're doing that and blah blah blah. But I figure this might be a good intro point to it in any case.
Right,
if
yeah.
he stops by someone.
Yeah, he'll walk you around. he'll go through the whole spiel. He goes, we have different sections here because some of these people in the machinery obviously isn't designed to handle the heavier materials that are for protective wear and certain industrial applications. So we actually limit that to just a couple of our best people work on those machines because they're really expensive and we don't want to mess those up at all. So if somebody needs like a fire protective, heavily padded piece of equipment when they're working in one of the fuel refineries, or even here on station in one of the large power units, then we can provide that. It's obviously extra charge, but we can put all sorts of padding and that sort of stuff, wink, wink, into it as well. Sometimes we have independent contractors purchase things from our company as well. But he makes some veiled hints at that, and he shows you around. He's like, we even have they have a section where he's showing you delicate stuff, so it looks like it's very fancy dresses and kind of a gala type of attire. So everything that you would imagine in our world, from like tuxedos all the way down to overalls, this guy's got stuff going in there. And it's just a beehive of activity there on the second floor. So he'll walk you around that. He'll take you down a back set of stairs, eventually to the bottom floor. And there on the bottom floor, it looks like a packaging area. So there's lots of crates and things towards the back where there's a large storage, like not storage, like a large, like a parking bay where there's a couple of cargo haulers back there. One of them has nothing in it, and the other one is, or I should say, it looks like where ones should be. One of them is there with nothing in it, and then there's an empty space where another one looks like it should be. And
is there a lot of people in this area?
In the bottom area? No, not really, because there are people packaging stuff towards the front, back towards the office area. So there's people putting things on the hangers and in the little crazy like dry cleaning style bag. That they're packaging stuff up so it doesn't get wrinkled or torn up in transport. And there's not a bunch of them, say half a dozen people down there. And but it does. The thing is, this looks like a thriving business. It looks like it is definitely turning over material. You're seeing all sorts of designs. Like it is, you got an eye at some of the stuff there in Vincent's place. And there is a lot of stuff that doesn't look anything like what he has. And to your guys' eyes, you can see that it's every race you can think of. You're like, oh, they've got really small stuff being made all the way up to stuff that looks like it would fit Slashik, all that stuff. It's all being made there. And it's like I said, thriving business. This guy is obviously doing well for himself.
So, Mr. Strinko, what do you think happened to your last pilot? We wouldn't want any. We're a little curious since our friend. We wouldn't want anything untoward happening to our friend.
Oh, this isn't that sort of business. We don't really run afoul of any kind of bad people. I mean, we're very above board. We keep everything on the level. We pay our dues on time. We follow all the guild regulations. He goes, I'm not going to be one of those places that has a reputation for undercutting the guild or trying to do anything shady. I like my business to be above board, and that's what my customers expect. They expect honesty and integrity, and that's what they're going to get. He's walking you through the front. But when it comes to when it comes to Victor, it's a shame really, because that guy, he had so much potential. I had half of mine to think that maybe he just was given a better offer. And if that's true, I would have, it would have been nice to get a call, or at least have him stop by and tell me so I could meet it, because he was definitely worth, paying an increased rate for. Because I mean, he was our employee of the month for a couple months in a row. And he deserved it. He really deserved it. Probably should have been other times we had to kind of take it, give it to somebody else, or otherwise people get grumbly. You know how that is. But I don't know. He seemed like he lived a normal life. Seemed like he never really heard much off, when he was off duty. We didn't really, never came to any of the company functions or anything like that. Never did that. Just kind of stuck to himself. But no real complaints. Maybe. Who knows?
I was very curious. Yes.
Yeah. Just could have been a weird accident, I guess. I don't know.
We're headed towards that section of the station later in the day today. You want us to drop by and check in on him? He might be, I don't know, maybe he's in trouble. Me and my buddy here, we can handle ourselves in a fight, if you know what I mean.
Well, you definitely look like you can. I mean, I don't know that I've ever met a Trandoshan who couldn't handle themselves in a fight.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, are you worried about him? It sounds like he dropped off the grid.
he did, but I mean, it's been 2 weeks. I mean, I would say I was worried about him at first, but at this point, I mean, I have to. Business has to move on. It really does. I hate to be that kind of cutthroat about it, but business has to move on. And yeah, what I'd like to know what happened to him, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna force you guys to go look up something like that. I mean,
Oh, it's really no problem for us. You know what? How about this? You seem like a nice guy. If
well, I appreciate that.
uh, like I said, we're. It sounds like we're going to be in the neighborhood. Uh, why if you let me know where we can find him, where he stayed, we could just drop by and check in. Because if they and let him know that you're still looking to hire. Although I guess there's only one position for the pilot. Maybe we shouldn't undercut our friend.
Yeah, but you know what? He turns around. I'm just gonna make a name up because it doesn't really matter. Tila, do you still have Victor's address in our system? She says, "Yeah, I should have it in here." And she uh, clicks it up real fast, and I don't know. They don't give printouts. She'll show it to you. She'll spin the monitor.
Okay.
there you go. There he is. that's the one he had on file. I don't. I mean, I've never been there, but that's what he had on file. And,
All right.
So
yeah, I think that's right. That's real close to where we were going. So yeah,
great.
we'll just drop in and we'll see if he's around and just make sure he's okay. Everything that's been going on in the station, everyone knows someone that something happened to them, and
yeah,
it's just good to touch base.
that's good.
That's
good.
what I always say.
You know what?
Touch base.
If your friend has as much care as you seem to,
Oh, he's a real nice guy.
I'm going to fit right in right here.
Oh, sounds good. I'm gonna shake his hand.
Yep. Wonderful. I can't wait to hear from your friend. What were your names again?
Oh, it's Oskalef and this is Slashik.
No, I'm Grix.
I think I already used your name. That's why I already called you Slashik. Yeah.
I think you did call
Slashik.
at some point.
Slashik.
There you go. Yeah.
Van
Grix.
Grix. It's an It's a long name. We sometimes just call him Slashik. That's really a nickname.
Oh, okay. Right. I got you. Well, I can't wait to see from your friend or hear from your friend.
Right.
Thanks for stopping in. Don't forget Galaxy's Finest Fit if you're looking for your best clothing, and we could probably help you out or at least point you to a reputable dealer if you're a little worried about some of the merchandise you might run across here on the station.
Thanks. All right. All right. See you around.
Yep. All right. And he'll kind of head back into his office. Slashik, give me just for giggles, 5-die perception, 5 difficulty perception.
Oh, great. Perception. Let's see. 1 proficiency. Yeah, this is going to be.
It's not your strong suit, I think.
Yeah, but he's done.
No, it's not. I mean, I do have a whatchamacallit in perception.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so get ready. Here we go. So I failed. I got 6 threats, and I have 1 triumph. So go figure. That's the one yellow die I got. I have in perception gave me 1 triumph, but obviously I failed ridiculously.
Well, as you're walking,
maybe it's. Go ahead.
As you're walking back through the door, I guess through the little what the heck hatchway airlock, you're in front as is typical standard Osculate thing.
Osculate
accidentally steps on Osculate accidentally steps on the heel of your boot, causes you to lose your balance. You tip to the
I
side.
do that on purpose, actually.
you
Remember,
you
flat
tip to
tire.
the side and rake all of the stuff off the wall. that was all the personal, like business, all that stuff. As you stumble, you scatter all of it off the wall. Comes crashing down to the floor. So all the employee notices, all the all the plaques, everything comes scattering to the floor as you as he steps on your heel and you lose your balance.
Oslet, what the heck?
Flat tire.
I'm not wearing any shoes. I'm not wearing any boots. I have just scaly
That's
feet.
what makes it so funny.
Please don't fit me.
I'm gonna look for
Look at this mess.
Garvin's
Whoa,
picture
what was that?
real fast.
He's like, whoa, what was that? And he comes right. What happened?
Oh, I'm so sorry. My friend is an utter oaf. So clumsy.
Oh, I'm glad he's not the pilot. He comes in there and starts picking some of the stuff up
Right.
off the floor or off the ground.
I'm just looking to eyeball a picture of Victor Garvin so I know what he looks like.
Okay. As you you're picking this stuff up. You make a note that he's on one of these Employee of the Month things, and you pick. Basically, you start picking those up specifically. You're like, I know he's got to be on one of these somewhere. So as you do that, you actually come across the one with his name on it. And give me just a moment. I need to look this up. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Man, that was a good triumph there. It's so funny because on the way out, Phil, I was gonna like, I was gonna see if there was some way I could be like, hey, Asklet, why don't you look at that board one more time?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't think of a good reason to do so. But this flat tire was just perfect. I do I am very interested in this whole thing. I think that we should probably, I mean, this is just talking, out loud. I think we should probably get Kurt with us and then maybe head over to this guy's place. I don't know how far it is, but I think that if there's like computer stuff there, we're definitely going to need Kurt to, help us learn something. That's my thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be fair.
Also,
Sounds like
I'm
right
kind of
there.
surprised. I'm kind of surprised too that this is not the establishment I was expecting when we walked in. Either it is incredibly well concealed, or it really is just an above, ethical establishment, above ground.
Okay,
ethical establishment.
you
Yeah,
find
it does seem like that's
you find Victor's Employee of the Month, or one of them, on the floor. And as you lift it up, Slashik, make an easy 1-die perception roll for me.
Oh, sweet! I can do this, guys. I can do this.
What am I thinking? Osclet, the face is familiar.
1 success and 3 advantage.
You can't place it, but Slashik does. This person is the one you know as Learn Danso.
Holy mother trucker!
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to help us continue improving and expanding our channel's content.